For assembling, you need the Nokia Standard Toolkit version 2. You will also need the RF connector Disassembly Assembly Tool SS298 and the Care Chassis Assembly Jig SS289 and the SS299 screwdriver. If the heat spreader is not already assembled to the unibody assembly, first peel off the protective film. Leave the other part of the protective film attached. Place the heat spreader to the unibody assembly. Place the top edge of the heat spreader approximately 2 mm from the GPS antenna. Press the heat spreader to get it firmly attached. Peel off the remaining protective film. Make sure the heat spreader does not overlap the NFC area and there is a small gap between. Remove the WPCRX module protective film. Place the WPCRX module to the unibody assembly. Use the shown guidings to get the right alignment. Place the WPCRX module under the shown clip. Make sure to align the shown WPCRX module hole and the pin on the unibody assembly. Press down to activate the adhesive. Place the AV flex assembly to the AV frame top end first and press down the bottom end. Be careful not to damage the AV flex assembly. Make sure the secondary microphone goes under the edge of the AV frame. Gently bend and press the secondary microphone for 5 seconds to the AV frame to activate the adhesive. Remove the AV flex assembly protective film from the unibody assembly. Place the AV flex assembly to its place and press it gently to activate the adhesive. Check that the AV flex assembly is correctly placed from the other side. If the USB flex support is not already assembled to the main antenna, first peel off the protective film. Place the USB flex support to the main antenna. Attach the USB assembly to the main antenna shown side first. Then gently bend the main antenna and push in the other side of the USB assembly. Peel out the other side of the shown protective film. Then peel out the small protective film. Attach the microphone to the main antenna with the SS93. Finally, peel out the big protective film completely. Place the main antenna including the USB assembly to the unibody assembly shown side first. Then push in the other side of the main antenna. Press the main antenna for 5 seconds with slight force to activate the adhesive. Check from the other side that the USB assembly is correctly placed. Remove the camera window protective film. Place the engine board including the main flex on the Care Chassis assembly jig and turn over the engine board as shown. Place the camera boot. Remove the camera from its packing. Place the camera connector support to the camera flex and press down gently to activate the adhesive. Assemble the camera to the engine board by first connecting the camera connector with the SS93. Be careful not to damage the connector or any nearby components. Bend the camera flex and push the camera into the camera boot. Remove the speaker gasket protective film from the chassis. Place the IHF speaker to the chassis. Make sure that the IHF speaker is aligned correctly and the shown pins are facing the right way. Press down gently to activate the adhesive. If the ejecting arm cushion is not already assembled to the chassis, first peel off the protective film. Place the ejecting arm cushion to the chassis. Remove the protective film from the chassis. Place the chassis on the main flex and press down to activate the adhesive. When placing the chassis, make sure to align the pins of the chassis to the holes in the main flex. Remove the earpiece gasket protective film. Place the earpiece gasket to the main flex. Remove the earpiece from its packing. Place the earpiece to its place. Make sure it is aligned correctly and the shown pins are facing the right way towards the SIM connector. Place the type label support to its place. Turn over the engine board. Fasten the Torx Plus size 2 screw with the SS299 screwdriver to the torque of 10 Newton-centimeters. The engine board including the chassis can now be removed from the car chassis assembly jig. Assemble the engine board including the chassis to the display module assembly shown side first. Use the shown screw holes to get the right alignment. Make sure that the front camera and the microphone are aligned correctly. Press down the other side and the bottom of the chassis to get the clips attached. Make sure that the clips on the display module assembly are not left under the chassis. Connect the antenna coax cable from the main flex side with the SS298. Lock the SS298 to the top of the connector as shown and press down. Assemble the antenna coax cable to the chassis by pushing it between the metal sheets. Connect the other end of the antenna coax cable to the engine board with the SS298. Fasten the 2 Torx Plus size 2 screws with the SS299 screwdriver in the order shown to the torque of 10 Newton-centimeters. Remove all protective films before assembling the connectors. Connect the display connector with the SS93. Be careful not to damage the connector or any nearby components. Attach the touchscreen connector by gently pushing it to its place as shown. Be careful not to damage the connector. Connect the touchscreen connector with the SS93. Be careful not to damage the connector or any nearby components. Fasten the 2 Torx Plus size 4 screws in the order shown to the torque of 10 Newton-centimeters. Place the battery to the battery compartment top end first. Place the battery support to its place. Place the battery holder to its place and press down to attach the clips. Fasten the Torx Plus size 4 screw to the torque of 10 Newton-centimeters. Connect the side key connector with the SS93. Be careful not to damage the connector or any nearby components. Place the unibody assembly next to the display module assembly as shown. Hold the USB flex with tweezers as shown, and connect the USB connector with the SS93. Be careful not to bend the flex or damage the connector or any nearby components. Place the USB connector support on top of the connectors by first inserting it to the shown holes on the engine board shielding. Then press it down from the sides to attach the clips. Connect the battery connector with the SS93. Be careful not to damage the connector or any nearby components. Remove the connector holding tape protective film. Place the connector holding tape to its place and press it gently for 5 seconds. Remove the battery connector fixing tape protective film. Place the battery connector fixing tape on top of the engine board shieldings and the battery connector. Press it for 5 to 10 seconds to activate the adhesive. Use the edges of the shown shielding to get the right alignment. Before assembling the display module assembly to the unibody assembly, make sure that the AV flex assembly is properly attached and aligned to the unibody. Assemble the display module assembly to the unibody assembly top end first. Do not slide the display module assembly towards top end as it might damage the AV flex assembly or AV connector on the engine board. Before pressing the bottom end, make sure the display module assembly is aligned correctly. Wrong alignment might damage the springs on the engine board. Then press from both sides and make sure it is firmly attached. Fasten the 2 Torx Plus size 5 screws in the order shown, to the torque of 11 Newton-centimeters. Insert the SIM door. Remove the unibody assembly protective film. Remove the camera deco protective film. Now the Nokia Lumia 920 assembly procedure is complete.